But here's the thing. Now I have to talk about what happened about my seizure. So I quit my corporate job. For 12 years I have been a lead not a lead the entire time, but you get the point. For 12 years I have been a lead UX designer in corporate tech, and we're talking corporate of corporate, right? Charter Spectrum, Vizio, fucking Amazon, all the tech bullshit, all right? So I have job hopped forever. I have spent the bulk of that career working roughly 60-ish hours a week. It varies per job. Um, I've had wonderful success. I've loved every second of it. I truly, 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 to my core, loved design. I loved working in design. I loved the impact that I get to make and the millions of users that I got to serve. It was fucking crazy. But the gist is, I burned myself out really fucking hard after 12 years in corporate tech. Anybody that works in tech, you know what that's like. You just run yourself into the ground for other people all day long. It was just one of those things where like I hit a brick wall and I couldn't continue the way I was continuing. And it was getting to the point where my burnout was just absolutely eating me alive. I had a hybrid schedule. I was barely going into the office. Everything was a problem. Um, I wasn't getting along with my coworkers. I was just snapping at everyone around me. My anger was an all-time high. My anxiety was an all-time high. Um, it just got to the point where it was unbearable. And after like so long of having the exact same conversation in therapy that I fucking pay a lot of money for, that I've gone down the same circle over and over again of like, do I want to be in corporate tech? I basically came to the conclusion that like, while I love what I do, I don't love the format that I do it in. And corporate tech is just not a good place for me to be. And while I love it so much, I did I did everything in my career that I wanted to do, and I got to the level that I wanted to get to, and I don't really want to go higher than that. And being a lead UXer is incredibly stressful, but incredibly fun, and I can do that job without being in a corporate setting like that. The burnout was just eating me alive, and while we were having those conversations, we had a lot of conversations about gaming and streaming and content and how that's occurring. And while my goal was to never be a full-time creator, like this, I never got into content or gaming or streaming to be full-time. It was never a job. It was never supposed to be an income source for me. In fact, I spent the majority of the time telling you guys not to monetarily support, that this is like a community building venture. It's mental health resourcing. It's gaming for the sake of gaming, just like having fun for the love of fucking video games. And I feel like that shit is lost a little bit. And that's why this entire thing started. But as it evolved, this became like my biggest creative outlet, and it became something that I actually really, really deeply enjoy. And while it gives me a lot of anxiety because of how this space works, I think it also gives me a really great creative outlet. Some of the most, actually the most, I won't even say some of the most incredible friends I've ever had in my entire life. But yeah, as I was like moving forward in this journey, I was like, oh, 1 week to fuck off. I'm not going to do anything. I like no expectations. I'm not even going to clean the house. I'm going to sit in the same sweatshirt. Fuck it. No showers. Nothing. And so I did that, and this is like kind of depressing. So trigger warning, if your seizures are a trigger for you in any way, please dip out or mute for a little bit. While we were watching a movie one night, Adam and I were just sitting on the couch. I went to the bathroom. I was looking in the mirror, and I was sitting there, and I was like, whoa, I don't feel very good. Like, what is happening? And I kind of got a little dizzy, and I yelled to Adam, and I was like, hey, I feel like I'm gonna faint. And all I could feel was like this band across my head that felt really fucking cold. I was sweating immediately. I mean, like soaked through sweating, not even just like a normal amount. I soaked through the shirt I was wearing, like it was drenched. And I started to grab onto the edge of the sink because I thought I was gonna fall, and I started to like put myself like on the ground, and then Adam caught me. Um, and then I woke up and I was still shaking, and all I remember is like it felt like TV static. Like that's the best way I can describe it, is that I had my eyes opened back up and I had like horizontal waves of like colors and noise, and I just like had no fucking clue what the fuck was happening and where I was at. And it took me like a full minute and a half to like remember that I was in the bathroom and like what happened. I'm glad Adam caught me. Had he not, I probably really would have hit my head. I bit my lip a little bit, and I did somehow injure my ankle going down. I think it was from the rug that I have in my bathroom. I think when I seized, it was just rubbing up against the rug, and it like made it bleed. But those are the only two like minor injuries from that. That was my first seizure ever. I've never had one, and two members of my direct family, my sister and my dad, are epileptic. And so it was really weird. And I sat there for a minute. Adam got me water, and I was just sitting on the ground. And I was like, fuck it, call my mom. Because while I've been around seizures my entire fucking life, I never really thought about what I do on the first seizure because I've only ever seen my family react to, like, you know, the 50th fucking seizure, the 200th seizure. You don't go to the hospital every time. So I was sitting there and I was like so confused at what to do. And I have Adam call my mom and I'm like, hey, I think I just had a seizure. I don't even know what to do. Like, do I go in the first time? What the fuck is occurring? And the second that I am like having this conversation with her, the band happens again. I'm sweating again. I am fully, Adam's like, you are paper white. I had no color in my lips, no color in my hands. I was fully fucking like, my blood pressure just tanked. And I was like, nope, fuck it, call. I was like, call. This is so bad. Um, yeah. And I am fully like, not to get like super deep into like the healthcare system, but I am very anti like going to the hospital. I hate that shit. I do not want to do it. I've been to the hospital maybe like 5 times in my entire life, all very critical emergencies, and I do not like being there. I hate doctors. I want nothing to do with it. So for me to ask for an ambulance of all fucking things, knowing how expensive they are, and just like immediate attention, I was losing it. I was so scared I was going to have another one, and it felt like it was truly the worst I've ever felt in my entire life. It was the most scared I've ever been of genuinely dying. Um, and so Adam called. He hung up on my mom and called. My parents got in the fucking car. They're not supposed to be driving, which is great. They got in the car. They live like an hour away. They immediately started driving up here. I got rushed to the nearest hospital, and when the ambulance got here, they did like blood sugar, all the like memory tests, like who's the president, all that fun stuff, blood pressure, and then just like kept me on. They were just watching and asking me questions and history and all that stuff. They carted me out. I didn't have my wallet. I didn't have my ID. I didn't have shoes on. I just had my phone. I finally get the EKG. We're in the ambulance. It's like the brightest. First of all, ambulances are so bright. Why the fuck is it like that? And why would you do that to somebody that just had a seizure? Why do they put you in an ambulance that's like the brightest light I've ever fucking seen in my whole life? Because isn't like light part of a trigger? Like, it was so bad. They put me in the back of the ambulance. I get to the hospital. They put me in the bed or whatever, and then hook me up to a bunch of fucking machines. My doctor was so nice. He was an absolute gem. My parents rounded the corner soon after, and then I had to send Adam home because typical, within 15 minutes, they're at my fucking bed being like, hey, do you have like $300 right now? And I was like, I don't even have shoes, let alone $300, but I'll let you know. So I sent Adam home to get my ID, my wallet, whatever they needed. If you crash, they need the light. That makes sense. Fuck. If you want to live, you gotta pay. Exactly. Truly. Like I'm not even kidding. I was still incoherent. I'm talking like I had no fucking clue. I was like so out of it still. And she's at my bedside being like, I need all of your financial information that you've ever had in your entire life. And I was like, I don't know. I couldn't tell you. I don't even know what's happening. So I finally got through all of that. My parents got into the room. Doctor came back, and there's only 2 reasons that they could come up with. One is just stress. They said this happens a decent amount with people that were in like really high stress situations, even if you leave the situation, aka my job. This seizure was exactly 1 week from me leaving my job, and so I did rest for an entire week. But the hunch is based on how drained my adrenals and shit were, that I was just too stressed, and it was an exhaustion reaction, and I was just fucking gone. So that was the first one. I was pissed by that answer. I won't lie. I'm just supposed to walk around like with an invisible threshold of seizure line, like stress line that I hit. And if I hit that line, I just like have a seizure. And they were like, yeah, like we can give you a neuro consult, but like it's going to take a minute. And until they can look at it, like that's all we got. And then the second thing is that I recently had a tooth pulled, like, I don't know, 2 weeks before that. It's still gone. I don't have a tooth. I recently had a tooth pulled, and they think that because of that, some of the like reaction to that or me rinsing it may have overstimulated my vagus nerve. I don't necessarily believe that because I had rinsed it, upwards of 40 fucking times before any of this happened. So I don't really know if that's the thing. But either way, I have an invisible threshold of stress now. That if I hit, I may or may not have a seizure, or maybe that was the only one I ever have in my life. But and then when they discharged me, I still had no shoes. Bro, I walked through the ER, an ER in Denver with no shoes on. It was the grossest part of the whole thing. I was convinced I had like fucking polio on my goddamn feet. No, I had no socks on. I had nothing. I had nothing with me. It was so gross. I was like, ugh. My mom had to give me her coat because, again, Denver, it was snowing outside. And I had nothing. I had a t-shirt on and like shorts. That's it. I had nothing else. And I just walked through the hospital with bare fucking feet. Health stuff fucking sucks. And then, so all of that occurred. I spent the next like 2 or 3 days being babysat by everyone around me. Bad word, but like you get the vibe. Nobody wanted to leave me alone. Rightfully so. Fully get it. I was a little scared to be alone too. So my mom sat with me. Adam sat with me. Friends came in and out. It was really weird. I spent like 3 or 4 days still like so brain foggy and dizzy and just like out of it. And fucking A, if you have like chronic seizures, like I don't know. You have like all my respect in the world because that shit is just unbearable. Like it's truly one of the worst things I have ever been through. Yeah, and I don't know. It took me a long time. Light sensitivity lasted for fucking ever, and to be honest, it's still there a little bit. And I'm probably what day is it? Like 3 weeks or something out. I don't know. Yeah, something like that. And it still happens a little bit where like I'll be playing games and like the lights, I'm like, fuck, man. I've had a couple more times where I felt a little bit weird or the band across my head happens again. One time was just like laying in bed at night. Nothing was occurring. I had no stimulus. There was no lights on, no TV, nothing. It was just it just happened. And the other one was when I was like, I had just gotten done playing games and I like stood up too fast, I think, and just was out of it. But I haven't had one since that I know of. I know some people have them in their sleep, and that also scares me. So that's why I wasn't back when I wanted to be back. And preemptive to all of that, I had already scheduled like a bunch of charity streams in a row. But to be honest, the pressure of like going live preemptively kind of scared the shit out of me, and I was like really losing it there for a minute. I crashed out about it a couple of times. I was like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't be a streamer, maybe I shouldn't be full-time, like maybe this is a sign that I shouldn't have fucking done this jump. Oh my god, like what do I do? It was really hard not to take all of it as like a major setback or a sign that this is like the wrong path, which you guys helped correct when I just started the stream. Got home and kind of just went to bed. The first night after that, I slept very well, and then since then, I've pretty much had nothing but sleep issues. It's not been fun. I'm not like a good sleeper to begin with. I hover around like 6.5 to 7 hours, but like after that, I was getting maybe 45 minutes at a time or 2 hours at a time. And talking through with some of my friends that work in healthcare, I think what's happening is that I got so freaked out and traumatized by having a seizure that the second I fall asleep, or I feel any difference, I like jolt my body awake because I am so scared that I'm like something's happening. So yeah, my sleep has been very broken, completely fucking messed up. There was a period of time where I went like 2 full entire days without sleeping and fully crashed out on like everything and everyone in my life. It was very bad. I had like a full mental break about it. So this seizure, I don't even know, man. Like, I don't have another way to describe it other than that it fucking rocked my world. It was actually like destroyed part of my life a little bit. And I wasn't expecting it, obviously. And I didn't really know how to react to it. And obviously, when you're like, oh, I'm finally, taking my health into my own hands and getting away from the burnout and choosing this path for me and finally making a decision to like step out of the chaos and like be healed and try, then I have a seizure. And it felt like it was punishment in a way. Like I was like, I'm like, fuck, man, I just finally did this thing. Like, why now? So I'm still working through that on like the mental side, but all in all, I'm really glad I made this jump, and I do feel better burnout wise. My like ability to present and speak is coming back. That was like trash. My Creative side is coming back, and content has helped a lot with that. My content that I put out so far, being full-time, hasn't been as stellar because, again, seizure, but like, I'm proud of what I got out for what my circumstances have been this entire time. But yeah, it was just one of those things. I wasn't expecting it, and now that it's happened, I live in like a weird fear of hitting it again, and I'm doing everything to minimize stress that I possibly can within like my life and surroundings and the people around me. I've been very careful about like the situations I'm involved in and the people I'm around, and just trying to really, really, really protect my mental and how much I'm on social media and my reaction to all of this. So yeah, next up is like a neuro consult, which I have yet to like get a firm answer on. They've pushed it back like a million times and gave me 2 doctors and 2 referrals or whatever. It was weird. It's still weird. I'm still trying to process it. It hasn't been that long. Now that I like look at the calendar, I'm like, okay, well, like, I've been giving myself a little bit of shit for like not moving on, kind of. When stuff like this happens, there's a lot of, I won't say pressure because that's not the right word. There's a lot of expectations to like get over it, I guess. Like you bring it up and people are like, "Oh yeah, like you'll feel better soon." And then like you don't. And everyone around you is just like, "Oh, it'll be fine." And I'm like, "Okay, it's not though. Like I'm really struggling." um and Billy was one that helps me a lot. There's a lot of like mutuals I have that either have epilepsy or they've had a few one-off seizures, who entered my DMs and were so incredibly nice and supportive and kind, and it was so helpful because a lot of people in my life had not had them. So that was nice to just process it. I feel like your baseline for normal is going to change. I agree. It's I won't lie, like I'm not a person that has ever really gotten scared by medical things a ton. I have like a million concussions from soccer and rugby. I played in college. It was like a whole thing. My family has a lot of medical issues, so I've been in, around, adjacent to hospitals and severe medical issues my whole life. But I don't think I've ever had one that truly was like, "Oh fuck, I'm going to die." And that was it. And that second wave after the first seizure where I was like, "Oh no, if this happens again, like I'm this is not good." I begged Adam to call. I was freaking out. So that was like probably one of the most scared moments I've ever been in my whole life, and everything shifted. I had financial padding, I had a timeline, I had content ready to go, and in 30 seconds I had a seizure for, I think it was like 20, Adam said like 20 to 25 seconds, 30 seconds total. In 30 seconds my entire life changed, all of it. So it was a wake up. It was a big reminder that sometimes shit just happens and there's nothing you can do about it, and it's not my fault. It really destroyed me for a minute there, and I'm really lucky for the friends, some of which are in chat. um, I'm really lucky that I had that support system because I don't even know, like I was a fucking, you guys can talk about it, I was a fucking crazy person for like 2 weeks. I was just fucking gone. I didn't remember conversations. I was like, the first time I played games with people, I think it was Allie, and I had played games with Allie the entirety of like the day before, and then I get on the game the next day and I was like, "Oh, are we friends on this game? Like, have I added you?" And she's like, "Yeah, we played all day yesterday." I was like, "Fuck." So I did have some like memory issues, and I was like, I was really out of it for like a week or two. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to like perform and fucking go full into content and like do the thing. And I was like, fuck, I have to go live. Oh my God, I have nothing for YouTube. Oh my God, why haven't I posted on TikTok? And I was like, every step of the way, they were like, "Hey, like you just had a fucking major medical event. Relax." And I was like, "Okay, yeah, fair." I just I wasn't thinking about it that way. And I have a tendency to be someone that ties my self-worth to productivity. And if I'm not being productive, who the fuck am I as a person? Um, and I need to break that habit. It's something I've been working on for years and years, and it's part of why I stepped away from my career the way I did. Um, yeah, yeah, overstressing for no reason is kind of my MO. So sorry for those of you in chat who are like kind of my friend circle, because you guys got like a random text or a call from Adam at like 11 at night, and they're like, "Hannah had a seizure," and then everyone's like, "Huh?" And started losing it, and I couldn't answer anyone because I'm over there like in, actually I have a picture, this is actually so fucking funny. I took a picture when I got to the hospital in the ambulance because Adam couldn't ride with me. And he was like, let me know like when you get there and what hospital room you're in and like try to like tell me some shit. And I was like, okay, I can do that. And so I was like cognitively in the ambulance trying to like, I don't know, function. And then I get there. This is so bad. And I'm like, is this me trying to make a thumbs up in the hospital room? It's just my thumb's not even up. It's like this. I was trying so hard to be like, I'm here. And look at my eyes. They're not even open. Like I was just gone. I couldn't function. It was bad. But thank you for those of you who like helped me remember that my self-worth and like entire being is not supposed to be surrounded by how productive I am and that I just had a seizure, so I can't just like jump into content and jump into streaming and be all good. And there's like shit I need to like work out before I can do any of this. So that's the whole story. Thank you for listening. I know it was a lot. But yeah, it was just one of those things that rocked me to my core, and now it's done, hopefully, and I won't have to think about it. But I am being very mindful of my stress and who I'm around and what I'm doing and blah blah blah. So yeah, if you see me just not engaging in some shit, that's why. Because I'm trying to have my brain be normal again and baseline again. And like you said, my baseline's gonna shift. Those of you, I know some of you are in chat, but thank you for all the kind messages, the DMs. I think a couple of you even emailed me because you knew it was slower. There's like it was crazy. The outpouring of support was so nice. Yeah, I hated the timing. I was so mad. I remember making that post and being like, fuck, man, I just announced full time, and now my direct post after that is JK LOL had a seizure offline for a little bit. Like it's not something any creator wants to do. Nor do I want to like put my community through another break. I've taken enough breaks, for fuck's sake, you know?